everyone. I'm going to do some scene reads from the ebooks that make up 4, Anthology 4, under my middle grade name of TK Wrathbone. The first scene read is from I Spy with My Little Eye. This is funny. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Blake led the boys into the dance and they managed to make it through without falling over themselves or each other. Good, we made it through that time. Barely, Jared huffed and puffed, bending over to rest his hands on his knees. Is this contest even worth it? If it gets us fame and fortune, why not? Blake asked. A crash came from the neighbour's attic and the wall vibrated. The boys jumped and spun around, staring at the wall. Bloody hell, Callum muttered. What was that? Don't know, but let's find out. Blake ran over to the wall and looked through the hole. He shifted slightly, thinking that if he leaned left or right or up or down, he would see more, but he didn't. Well, Blake glanced at his friends. Nothing. Looking again, he saw the back of a man, the oily, battered leather of a jacket. Wait, he whispered. There's someone there. Keeping watch, he saw the man walk out of view and back again, always with his back to the wall. But that's all Blake saw. Sighing, he moved away. It's a man, but I can't see anything else. Let me have a go. Adam stepped up to the wall and looked through. I can only see his back. Blake pulled him and the others away from the wall and in hushed tones told them about the night before, the noises and the blood and the man's hand going up and down. I don't know what he's doing, but it looked like he was chopping something up. A body? Jason surmised. Hardly think so, Blake said. But you don't know, and neither do we, Callum said. They just moved in last week. They could still be unpacking. They? Jason asked. I thought it was just a guy. Nope. Mum said a couple moved in, Callum replied. Didn't see the man, but the woman was a bit of a weirdo hippie type. Apparently they've hung wind chimes and strange stuff on the porch to ward off evil spirits. Or so Mum said. I haven't even seen them, Blake told them, and they live right next door. I didn't see them move in. I don't see them collect their mail, although I suppose someone does because the box isn't overflowing and there are no papers lying around. Maybe they go out after dark to bring it in, Callum offered. Don't want people seeing what they look like. Maybe they're vampires, Jason added, and they're going to suck our blood after dark. He made sucking sounds and bared his teeth. Don't be stupid, Blake rolled his eyes. They're not vampires. Vampires don't exist. Besides, maybe they're just private people. And maybe they're vampires, Jason reiterated. Callum punched him lightly in the arm. Then you'd better not invite them over to your place. They can't come in unless they're invited. Better tell my parents then, Adam said. They invite everyone over. Look, it can't be that bad. It can't be that bad, Blake interrupted. Probably chopping up old furniture or something. And I haven't seen any reports of missing people or anything, Jared added. Why would people be missing, Jason asked. Oh, you mean because they're vampires and they'd need blood? No, stupid, Jared sighed. Blake thinks someone was chopped up in the attic, which means someone will be missing. But I haven't seen any reports of missing people, so they can't be chopping people up. Doesn't mean they're not kidnapping street people or something, Callum mused. Plenty of homeless people on the outskirts living in that old warehouse. No one will miss them if they go missing. But why would they want to cut up homeless people, Blake asked. Axe murderers, Jared said. Experiments, Callum muttered. Vampires, Jason added. That's ridiculous, Adam cried, exasperated by the conversation. You have no idea what's going on next door, so why worry about it? Just let it go and let's get on with this stupid dance routine for this stupid contest. Now I'm going to do a scene read from Knock Knock, Who's Dead? And for those listening along, this is actually a trilogy. The 3 stories are in 4, Anthology 4. So this is number 2. Knock Knock, Who's Dead? Scene read. What do you mean, what have I done? Blake's head whipped around to face Jared. I want my mother back. I want Melissa gone. Do you think I magically took myself through the wall? He pointed to it. Do you think I conjured that green glow and spiked myself with its tentacles, then opened the hole in the wall and took myself through it? I had no control over that, he spat. All I want is for my mum to be alive. Breathing hard, he deflated. I just want my mum. We know you do, Callum felt sorry for his friend, but she's been gone for 3 years. People die, Blake. We all will one day. Your dad will. Our parents will. It's just life, even though it sucks. Blake sobbed through his words. I know. I just want her back so bad. And maybe if your dad hadn't married Melissa so quick, you'd be doing a lot better and dealing with it, Jason added. But bringing her back won't make it better, and that's even if those whack jobs next door manage to do that, because she won't be the same. Even they told you that. He slid over to his friend and put an arm around his shoulders. Dude, we are so sorry you lost your mum after your birthday 3 years ago. We know what you went through. We saw it. We were there trying to help you through. But if it's still killing you, maybe it's time to talk to a professional. Try and talk it out. Work through it. It might make you feel better. Might help you and Melissa sort your problems out. I don't want to sort out my problems with Melissa. I want her gone. Blake looked at his friend through watery eyes. She's done nothing but ruin what we had, what we were going through. We didn't even have a chance to deal with Mum being gone before she came along and hooked her claws into Dad, and she never wanted me around, never paid me any attention unless Dad was around. And even then it was all fake as she is. It's pathetic, the way she dug her claws into Dad so soon after losing his wife. She didn't even give him time to grieve, and then he didn't give me time to grieve before marrying her. She just messed everything up, and I hate her for it, and if her dying means I can get my mother back, then so be it. He got to his feet, ran out of the attic and down to his room, slamming the door behind him. Throwing himself face first down on the bed, he wept for 3 years' worth of pain and heartache, despair and heartbreak. He would never get over losing his mother, not in a million years. So what do we do now? Adam asked somberly as the boys got to their feet. Do we tell Mr. Williamson about all of this? What, about those crazy kooks next door? Jared returned. What would we say? That a big green glowing thing stuck its tentacles through Blake, opened up the wall in the attic and carried him through. Yeah, he'd believe that. Or the one about us breaking in next door to get Blake back. Or how the old kook next door opened the wall again and flung us all back through. Which story do you want to tell him, and which one do you think he'll believe? Jared looked from Callum to Jason to Adam. Huh? What will he believe? Adam shrugged in defeat. I don't know, but we need to tell him something. Blake's really going off his rocker, and now those kooks, as you call them, have him believing they'll bring his mother back. Whack jobs galore next door. Maybe we could call the cops and tell them what happened. That they're making magic potions in their attic, Jason suggested. Yeah, Jared rolled his eyes. 'Cause that'll be better for them to believe us. Well, I don't know. Jason shoved his hands in his shorts pocket. At least it's an idea. What's yours? Jared sighed and ran a hand through his hair. I don't know either. Maybe we should just tell Mr. Williamson Blake's not doing well and should see a counsellor. He'll probably think it's a good idea. I suppose, Callum said. The whole family needs it. Knock, knock, knock. The sound on the front door startled them. Knock, knock, knock. The boys raced out of the door to peer over the banister and saw Blake bolt from his room. He looked up at them before flying down the stairs for the door. You can't open the door, Jared yelled. Remember what they said. The person who opens the door will die. I'm going to do a scene read from It Creeped at Midnight, which is the third book in a trilogy after I Spy with My Little Eye and Knock Knock, Who's Dead. Here we go with the scene read. Mummy, Blake screamed, not even daring to believe it had finally happened. Mummy! Blake? A concerned Michael moved to his son's side and grasped him by the arms. What is it, Blake? You know your mother's not here. Looking at his father through tear-filled eyes, Blake pointed down the hall to the front door. Mummy! Michael glanced at the door and saw it was closed. Where's Melissa? It's Melissa, Blake. Who was at the door? Whatever it is, whoever it is, it's not your mother. He felt the vibrations shaking his son. Are you okay? Are you coming down with something? Mummy, Blake yelled. Mummy's back. Jerking from his father's hands, he bolted down the hall and flung open the door. There, on the doorstep, shrouded by the porch light, lay two women. One blonde, one brunette. One dead, one alive. Melissa? Michael saw the prone figure of his wife and raced down the hall. Melissa? Pushing Blake out the door, he fell to his wife's side. Melissa? Are you okay? Through the pouring rain and lightning cracks, Blake glanced up at the sky and saw the neighbours from next door standing on their porch watching him. They smiled in the light but disappeared in the dark, and when the lightning came again, they were gone. Looking down, Blake's heart pounded in his chest. He was staring at his mother and stepmother. Melissa, Melissa, oh my God, she's not breathing, Melissa. He slapped her face and set her on her back. Melissa. Laying his head on her chest to listen for a heartbeat, he watched Blake fall to his knees beside the other woman and gently roll her onto her back. Mummy, Blake gently pushed away her hair from her face. Mummy. Blake, Michael raised his head. That's not your... He stared at the woman lying next to his wife. Adeline? His brows moved downwards and his eyes couldn't take themselves off the woman. His heart pounded and his blood raced. He knew his wife's face anywhere, regardless of her being dead for 3 years. Mummy. Blake gently shook her by the shoulders, not daring to believe it was really her. "Mummy!" The woman groaned lightly and her hand shifted to her face to find Blake's. Blake felt the warmth. "Mummy?" Swallowing hard, Michael turned his gaze from his wife to his wife. "Melissa?" Pulling out his cell phone, he dialed 000 and asked for an ambulance, giving them the details. Checking Melissa's pulse, he started performing CPR as directed by the call centre operator. 1, 2, 3, blow. 1, 2, 3, blow. He pushed on her chest, he blew into her mouth and continued doing so until the paramedics arrived. Blake had run inside and brought back a blanket for his mother, whom he cradled in his arms, watching it all until the ambulance arrived, which made several houses come alive with lights and open doors. People were standing on their porches and front steps, being nosy and wondering what had happened now. "What's going on?" one paramedic asked, setting down his bag and pulling out his stethoscope. "We don't know," Michael huffed, doing chest compressions while the paramedics listened to his wife's chest. "She answered the door and then we found her like this." He glanced at the other woman. Both of them. The paramedics pulled out their defibrillator and strapped the electrodes on Melissa's chest. "Shock at 100 cc's and clear." Melissa's body jerked up, but her heart didn't start. "Charging 200 cc's. Clear." That didn't help either. "Charging 300 cc's. Clear." Not even 300 could jumpstart Melissa's cold, dead heart. "We'll need to give her epinephrine," the female paramedic said, and pulled out a needle and glass vial. Inserting the needle, she pulled the plunger back and watched the fluid seep into the plastic tube of the syringe. 1 milligram of epinephrine. Handing it over, she watched her colleague squirt some out and then plunge it into Melissa's cold, dead heart. They waited. Nothing. "Let's charge 400 cc's and clear." Melissa's body jerked up, relaxed, and sighed. But it wasn't the sigh of a live woman. It was the rattle of a dead one. The male paramedic switched off the machine and removed the electrodes from Melissa's chest. Looking Michael square in the eye, he said, "I'm sorry, sir, there's nothing I can do for her. She's gone." Confused, Michael's head shook back and forth in slow jerking motions. He had heard and seen everything through a fog, unable to comprehend, to understand fully that his wife was gone. Another wife was gone. And that was a scene read from A Creeped at Midnight, a scene read from Knock Knock Who's Dead, and a scene read from I Spy with My Little Eye, all available as ebooks, but also in 4 Anthology 4, out now under my middle grade name of TK Wrathbone, as large room paperback, trade paperback, case laminate, hardcover, and dust jacket hardcover, all at good online bookstores.